I don't know if you can see right there. Look at that debris. That's what stopped that up. We've got a Kenmore refrigerator that's leaking water. And the homeowner put a towel down there to catch the water. And if we open the freezer, you can see that the bottom of the freezer is just a solid block of ice. And it's actually, you can see where it's kind of frosting up and leaking over at the edge there. And it's running out over on this side. Now this, unfortunately, is a typical problem, and you don't want to leave water sitting on your floor. If you have a tile floor like this, it'll pop the tiles, or if you have a wood floor, it's going to start to buckle the floor. So this is something you want to stay on top of. Now the homeowner went ahead, emptied the freezer, so we're all cleaned out here, ready to go. First thing I'm going to do is take the freezer door off. There's 4 1/4-inch screws. And you just need to loosen these. You don't have to take them off completely. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then all you need to do is lift the door off. Next, we need to remove these 2 screws. Next, we can remove this basket, and it just lifts out. And set that aside. There's 2 clips that hold this plate on that keep this basket in. So you need to push one in, move it up a little bit, and then push the other one in and move that up. And then you can lift that up and that releases this basket. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And now we can pull this basket out. Now I need to remove the ice maker, and there's 3 1/4-inch screws. One here, one there, and one up top back there. There's the bottom screw, and there's the 2 top screws. And now you want to move these clips out and unplug the ice maker. Next, you want to take a screwdriver, put it in here, and we've got to remove this. This is your thermistor under here. Put your screwdriver in here and you pry it this way and it pulls the little clip over. Then you can move it to the side, pull it over, and get these clips out here. One on the bottom, one on the top. And just flip this around. Your thermistor sits in that clip just like that. We're going to pull that out, and it just slides right out. Okay, next, you want to push in right here on the middle with a little screwdriver, and that'll release the bottom. And then you come up here and pry this way, and that releases the top over there, and we can pull that out. You can see the clip there. There's the one in the middle that I pushed up to release that. And then this one over here, you just slide it over this way. So I put the screwdriver in here, and you pry it over that way, and you can see that levers that over. Okay, next, I want to release this plug. So I'm going to push this in and push that back. Now we can remove the back panel. To do that, there's 4 screws. One there, one down here, and one down there. Okay, now to get the bottom 2, we got to pull the tray out, and then we can access those. Now, I've left this refrigerator on so that you have good light to see everything I'm doing. But you want to be sure to unplug the refrigerator before you do any of this to make sure that you don't cause a short or any problems. Okay, now you just grab here and your thermistor is going to go back, your plug's going to go back. This fill tube for the ice maker will stay. You just pull that out. It's metal, it'll flex a little bit. And we'll pull that out and set it aside. Now you can see everything in there. There's our coil. It's a little froze up over here. But the reason this problem happens on these refrigerators is because right down there where you see that dent, there's a drain down there and it's all frozen. And the reason it freezes is because on the back side of the freezer there's what's called a funnel or a grommet funnel. And those get clogged up with dirt and dust and debris after a couple of years, and then the water can't drain and the condensate just goes into your freezer, freezes, and what doesn't freeze runs out onto your floor. So we're going to thaw this out and then I'll show you how to clean out the grommet. As you can see right now, we're putting a straw in there and it won't go down in the drain. But after it's thawed out, you'll be able to go down in there. Now this is a solid block of ice down here. Need to get that out. Of course, this is all solid ice down here. One thing you want to be careful of, these fins here are what the air blows by. You don't want to bend those. I mean, it's not a big deal, a little bend here or there, and I'll straighten these out. But we're going to get all this ice off, the ice up here off, and the ice down in there. I'm going to use a blow dryer. You can use hot water and a baster. I'll probably use that too. But just have to work at it and get the ice and the water out. And I recommend using plastic or wood tools so that you don't scratch. Okay, next I'm going to take a turkey baster, and I've got some hot water here, not boiling water. Put it in here, especially where this drain is, and melt some of that ice down in there. All right, I think we got her opened up. And while I'm in here, I'm just going to straighten out some of these bent fins. And you just want to delicately move them back where they need to be. And these aren't bad at all, but you can see how that's straightened out. All right, next thing we need to do is pull the refrigerator out, pull off the back panel, and this power cord just slides up and out. Here's a drain tube, and this is what they call the drain funnel right here. And I'm going to take that off and show you what happens to that. It's draining now, but you can pull this off. It's just like a rubber nipple. I don't know if you can see that right there, but that's what's got to come off. There, I'm turning it, breaking it free. There we go. don't know if you can see it's coming down. Just pulling that off here. And there it is, right here. Now let's take that up and clean it. I don't know if you can see right there. Look at that debris. That's what stopped that up. Now this thing is designed to be pinched like that so that the humid air doesn't get in the freezer and cause frosting, but it's supposed to let the water out. So that's great that it'll do that, but they get clogged up and then the water can't drain, and then your freezer starts freezing up and you got water on your floor. They sell a nipple that you can buy, and it's actually like 30 bucks. What a ripoff, just for this little rubber thing. They call it a funnel. And all it is, it's a little wider than this one. So I don't think that accomplishes anything. But let's take this up top, clean it up. So I'm just going to take some hot water. And I don't know if you can see, but it's all dirty. That's what was plugging that up. So this is really the key. If you went behind your refrigerator, took that panel off, and cleaned this every year or two, you'd never have a problem. To me, that other part isn't worth it, and I've seen and heard other people that have had to take those off and clean them too. Now some people might be tempted just to leave this off, and of course you're not going to have a clog then, but you're going to have problems with humid air in your freezer, and it's not going to function properly. And while you're in here, it's a great idea to clean these fins on here. Those get clogged up, and what happens is your refrigerator has to work twice as hard to cool. And I would clean the fin blades too on your fan motor, and that's what helps evaporate the water, and it keeps your compressor cool. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and slide this back on, and you want to put it in this orientation so it's front to back. There we go. Now she's good for another 2 years. Sometimes they last 3, but that's your key right there. And there it is installed. And while you're in here, it's a good idea to clean the coils. You can see how filthy dirty that is. And that chokes out the cooling effect of the refrigerator. So you want to keep those coils clean. Back panel back on. Reverse order of the way we took it off. Now the one thing about this panel, you got to get your wire back clipped through here and make sure your water line comes through this hole and that thermistor line is outside of here. You don't want to block any of those back in there. And then we'll just screw this back in. And then the thermistor, as you recall, just slides through here. Slide that up and it snaps in down here. Flip it around, put these 2 clips in first and just snap it in. And then the ice maker. Plug this in first. And make sure you get the water line. It sits in here. Like that. Good. And we'll snap in the fan cover. Okay, we can put the top tray back in and just pull these up. And we'll slide that in. There we go. And then you pop these back down. And it's good to have it all the way in. And then you can reach in the back, and these clips in the back that hold that back down, if you've got this pushed all the way in, you know it's square in there. Otherwise, if you do it when it's pulled out, it might not be square. Then pull this back out. We'll double check this. Nice and square. Now we can put our screws in here. These go in at a little bit of an angle, just like this. And we'll put our front basket in, and that just sets in there, like that. And we'll put the front door back on. And like I showed you before, these screws just slide right down in here. So you just get that lined up. Okay, it's all lined up. Both sides. And one thing I like to do is close the door. Make sure the seal is sealed all the way around on both sides. Then you know it's lined up. And check the top too. Looks good. Pull that out. And just tighten these screws down. Good. Double check it. Lined up good here. Lined up good here. And now all we have to do is plug it back in. Now this is a project that most homeowners can handle, and it'll save you about $300 service call from an appliance store. I would recommend, and I'm going to recommend to this homeowner, that she take that turkey baster along with the straw and flush that drain out every 6 to 8 months, and that'll help keep that clear. And maybe every 2 years, take that bottom back panel off and clean that funnel. Pop that off, clean it, put it back on, and it'll save you all the headaches of having to take this whole thing apart and defrosting it and everything. If this video was a help to you, give her a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to helping you with other projects online.